so issue number 29, I said this is a good issue. It's really about fighting complacency and overcoming the current matrix of the comic world, okay? Imposed normalcy, in this case by their new Emperor Doom. I'll talk about the One World Under Dooms in a separate video, even though they're kind of tied to this, but I want to stick with this Fantastic Four one. I'm almost done with it here, so bear with me. She-Hulk makes an appearance here and helps the team save 2 vampire children from an angry mob. She-Hulk looks good here and makes me curious to check out her current run. Apparently She-Hulk has got a guy, and hey, you know what, man, like, I'm surprised by that. Like, the way Marvel and comics and everything is today, when I saw She-Hulk, I'm like, oh, is she like going to be some kind of lesbian or something? Or like, she's going to be one of these chicks who are like, I don't need no man and I don't need nothing and I got money and that's all I need, you know? But no, like, she's like literally fucking content. And she's like, yeah, no, things are good. Like, me and this guy, like, I feel like we're building something and there's a future. And I'm like, damn, She-Hulk has got it pretty good. Like, she's got a level head. I like that. And she looks good the way they're drawing her. Not sensational She-Hulk, John Byrne, sexy good. But like, she looks like she's got a level head. She looks like she's like doing all right for herself. I like that. I might check out her issues if they're writing anything about her. I mean, if it looks like that. If it's like this bullshit, like with the feminist bullshit or the Disney-fied stuff, I'll probably avoid it. But if it seems to have any potential, I'm going to give the She-Hulk comics a chance when I get to that. But yeah, like this was just about like how everybody is under the rule of Doom, and he hasn't really like taken over the world by force, really. I'll talk about what he does in the other one later. So like, everything is still normal, and Sue and Ben are kind of just like taking a breather, and they're saying, like, they're going to the coffee shop. That's why they're talking to She-Hulk. You got some like calm moments here, and it's like they're kind of not accepting what's happening, but they're kind of saying like it'll change. You know, something will change here. It can't go on like this forever. You know, and look, I don't want to get into political bullshit too much here, but I know, guys, you don't have to tell me. They're writing this at the time, and it's not even that long ago, February 26, 2025. It's probably a fucking Orange Man bad metaphor, I know, or something about Donald Trump here. But I'm going to ignore that and just take it as if it's happening in the Fantastic Four world. That's it. I'm taking it totally separate from that. So I'm doing, that's what I'm doing, just to stick with it. You know, like, I'm just ignoring, if it's most likely that. That's most likely what they're doing here, okay? I'm not stupid. But that's not important. Like, so if we just take this comic as itself without the modern day political stuff, it still works as a story, you know, like just forget about that. That's how I'm taking it. That's just my attitude. Alright, so that's One World Under Doom. Let me skip that. Fantastic Four number 30. I say here, really on a roll here. Got a nice issue here. On Ben's psyche and how he's handling being turned back into a normal human, because of, in the One World Under Doom, he turns him back into a human. We'll talk about that in that series. But he's kind of like back. Ben is a normal guy again, and he's not really enjoying it. He feels like he's been emasculated. He feels like his balls have been neutered. You know, he's not the Thing. He doesn't want to be human anymore. He's used to being the Thing, and he's feeling weak and less of a man. And he goes to his wife Alicia's father, who's in jail because he's a former villain named the Puppet Master. And like I said, haven't read other Fantastic Four stuff in the past like 10 years, so don't really know. But I don't really need to, because the comic kind of says it in a little bubble. It says, he asked the Puppet Master to create like I don't know what the Puppet Master's power is. I'm just figuring out, like, he made a little clay figure of Ben, and they had like a fucking big smile on it, and then Ben throughout the comic after that, he's not like as weak and emasculated. He's walking around like with this fake smile the whole time, because he doesn't want to walk around his family like he's sad anymore. I mean, he's basically like just denying reality. So Alicia figures this out pretty quick at the dinner table at one panel. And that's another thing I gotta just say, like, that I like about these comics. Like, I like the parts actually where they're at the table, or like the family is like acting like a family. Like, it kind of feels nice. Like, it's nice. You know, it gives them the depth to it. You know, I like that a lot. So they're at the dinner table, and immediately she goes to the puppet master to end it. Like, when she figures this out, she goes to where he is at jail. But you know, he didn't do this to be a dick or to be a villain. Like, he was trying to make it up to her because of whatever he did in the previous stories. And he even says to her at one point, like Ben wanted this. I did this for Ben, but I really did it for you. Like, she's trying to make up for being a douchebag, I guess. And apparently he's the reason why she went blind. I didn't know. So whatever happened in those stories, like, dude, you're a dick. You're like, your daughter's blind because of you. But I mean, he's asking for forgiveness, and he looks like he's really sorry about it. I mean, that would take a lot to forgive being the reason why you're blind, man. That's pretty bad. I mean, I'm sure in the story he didn't do it on purpose, or did he? You guys know that better than I do if you read it. But I mean, if he did it by accident, maybe. But if he did it on purpose, that's pretty bad. So, and apparently she hypnotized him in a marriage comic so she could get his blessing to marry Ben. I'm not sure why she would need his blessing if he was a villain. I'm not understanding that. And he says to her in this comic, he's like, well, what hurt me so much was that you felt like you had to hypnotize me to get my blessing to marry Ben. But you wouldn't have had to do that. I wouldn't have said yes anyway. Like, okay, kind of weird, kind of off a little bit. That part didn't make much sense. But what I did like about this, the best part about this issue, was that when Alicia and Ben were talking about this, and like that he needs to not use that. He needs to get back to reality and then kind of accept what happened for now until they figure out how he can become the Thing again. And they got this great moment, you know, and the artwork was really nice, like how they're holding each other, and you know, it's kind of an emotional scene and everything. Like, he's got that fake fucking smile, and he can't get rid of the smile, but he's like tearing up. You know, that's pretty cool shit right there. I like that little detail. So issue number 31. So here the team finds out that they're losing their powers because Ben is no longer the Thing. Traveling different multiverse versions of when the Fantastic Four was created by accident through the cosmic rays, they try to get Ben to get hit by the cosmic rays in their origins and all the different multiverses, and it fails each time. It never works each time, and they don't know why. They only think it's because in each different multiverse they're just different matter, and it just doesn't work. So after many attempts, their last attempt is in their universe. This turns out to work, and Ben becomes the Thing again. But their past selves didn't get hit by the cosmic rays because this version of the Thing in the future absorbed most of the cosmic rays. So their version, their past selves, whatever, they didn't get hit by the rays. So when they came back to Earth, they didn't turn into the Fantastic Four. So obviously, this fucks up the timeline, and literally their kids get erased in front of them. I mean, it was cool, you know, that their kids got erased from existence, and the kid, Valeria, whatever, Val, whatever her name is, she's like saying to herself, like, what's going to happen, and blah, 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 blah. But, you know, like, it's kind of like redundant at this point. I mean, you just lost the kids 10 in the beginning, and then they came back, and then you almost lost them again. Now they're back, and now you're going to lose them again, and you know, like, kind of redundant at this point. Nothing to write home about. So then issue number 32 was pretty bad. I said this was good, but honestly, a fucking advertisement is getting in my way. Hold on. So this was good, but honestly, I'm totally lost on how Val figured out how to do. Well, what happened was Val wakes up in another place. Like, she disappeared from existence in their main timeline, but then immediately she woke up in like another body, in another place and timeline, in a world that is being controlled by her brother, who's in another body, and he's like walking around like Galactus and making people happy, I guess. Really bad issue. Really, really bad. And I'm gonna be honest, Val, whatever the fuck her name is, not a very good hasn't, like, her introductions have not been very good. Like, it wasn't like the Nikki issue. Nikki was a little more fun and a little more relatable. Val, I'm not feeling nothing here. And it gets even worse in issue number 33. So, issue number 33, I gave a 5. I gave it a pretty bad score. I said, so they get Ben's powers back. And at the end of the last issue, though, first of all, how they got out of it, I can't even tell you how she figured out how to get back to the main timeline and tell the Fantastic Four, don't give Ben's powers back in our main timeline. Don't do it. Like, she somehow figured out how to defeat Franklin and redo everything. I have no idea. Every time her character comes up with solutions in these comics, I have no idea how what she's saying half the time. And I'm not like a genius, but when Reed Richards is explaining what he's gonna do, I understand it for some reason. But when they're writing her dialogue, like, it just doesn't add up. It doesn't connect with me. It doesn't work. I don't know. It doesn't make sense what she's saying. So, like, in issue number 33, that only gets worse. I say, so they get Ben's powers back because Valeria comes up with this idea that, hey guys, you know what's a great idea that won't have any consequences probably, and it'll be great? Why don't we go back to literally when the Big Bang happened, and there's no explanation. Like, how do you know the cosmic rays that you need to turn Ben back into the Thing? How do you know those cosmic rays are going to be at that Big Bang at that particular moment you're going to go back to? I don't get it, man. And look, I'm okay with coming up with some bullshit sometimes just so you could get back to the story and maybe get like something back for a character or a character back. But it's like this is really crazy. Like, this is really stupid. Like, it doesn't make any sense at all. Like, you have less risk going back to the original timeline again and trying it differently than going all the way back to the beginning of time itself to the Big Bang, right? So, and this issue is where they kind of put a little more focus on that little annoying robot that they made a big deal about him in the movie trailers at the time when it came out. Like, oh look, it's Herbie, the little fucking Jetsons robot, except he's not wearing the apron. So they figure out that they're gonna have to go back in time to the Big Bang, but it'll happen so fast, like pico nanoseconds, whatever, that the human mind, not even Reed Richards' mind, would be able to calculate and make his reflex and his moves and what he has to do in those moments. So their option is to use Herbie, which makes sense. I'm not saying that doesn't make sense. So they use Herbie, they upgrade him, and obviously Herbie is happy to help. He's this happy program robot that just wants to love and help the Fantastic Four. La-di-da-di-da. So they upgrade Herbie, and they compute him so he could be able to react in those nano picoseconds in the Big Bang bullshit, right? And so what happens is when this all happens, I mean, there's some cool artwork when they're in the actual Big Bang. Like, I gotta give the artist credit. I mean, I don't know how the hell you figure out how to draw that. Just explosions and big onomatopoeias and stuff and booms and bam, blah blah blah. He did pretty good for. Hold on, my video broke off here. But he did pretty good for what this was. But the writing sucked in this issue. The writing was ass. So what happens is Herbie is like, well, I have all these calculations in these pico nanoseconds, but I can't send the shit back in time. What I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to send us over the Earth's orbit. And biologically speaking, they will freeze to death almost, so that is not an option. But I can't even send all of us there. So he comes to the conclusion that he has to stay and he has to send them back. And he sacrifices himself in the Big Bang and dies, right? Dies. And he sends the Fantastic Four back, and they pop out into their timeline, and they're over Earth's atmosphere. And then Sue reacts, and they're choking in space, and then she puts the force field around them, and they crash back to Earth, and then Ben is back to normal. Now, they don't tell you what happens to Herbie, but come on, this is a comic book, right? Let's guess what's going to happen here. At best, he survives, right? He survives, and it's Herbie again, and he's lovey-dovey, and he's like, I am programmed to love, and that means that I am alive, I feel stuff now. And he comes back eventually, like in a future thing. Or the worst case scenario, right? The worst case, and it's not that he's dead, because nobody dies in these fucking comics, right? The worst case is he started off at the Big Bang, and the Big Bang turns him into some kind of like super fucking godlike AI robot thing that has been controlling the universe all this time, and it's thanks to them that they created all this bullshit. You know, like that's gonna be the one of the things that happens. And I say here, right, like I didn't feel it in this issue, honestly, and every time Val has a dialogue, it's really fucking annoying. Like, all I hear is blah, blah, blah. And you know what? I am going to find an example of that. I'm going to get you an example of that so you don't think I'm full of shit, okay? There is literally, alright, so here's issue number 33, right? Let me see if I bookmarked it. Hey, no, don't bring me to that. What are you doing? Oh, okay, that's just the advertisement for the first one, right? So look, after Ben and them, Ben and the family is happy that Ben is back as the Thing. Great. But the only thing is, so Reed and Val are hanging out in Arizona at Aunt Petunia's house after all this. You know, I'm gonna read it to you, right? So she's walking up to Reed at the. I mean, this looks like it could be a nice scene, but I'm telling you, the dialogue, it sucked. It sucked. This should have been a nice scene, and it was, and it wasn't. She's like, Dad, are you free? He says, always for you, Val. There's something about what happened today that I can't get past. Let me guess. Baryogenesis. I've been considering it too. Exactly. Every cosmological model we've got says that the Big Bang should have created matter and antimatter in perfect symmetry. But that means they should have destroyed each other in perfect symmetry too, leaving nothing behind. But they didn't, which means in those earliest moments of our universe, something must have formed baryons over antibaryons, ever so slightly. And that tiniest imbalance was all that was needed for our universe to be filled with quarks and atoms and molecules and matters and everything. Indeed, we've never been able to figure out how that imbalance could happen, or why. And it's been both a central and unsolved problem in modern physics since its discovery. And earlier today, 13.7 billion years ago, Herbie sacrificed himself and our time ship in those very moments. I can't stop thinking about how much they were both made of matter, which, as they were destroyed, would have necessarily annihilated an equivalent amount of antimatter. Just enough to be a thumb on the scale in that early universe, like how a minuscule change to the angle you leave at can have a colossal effect on where you end up. Is it possible, Dad? Could what we did today be somehow responsible for everything in a closed time loop? We couldn't have, right? I'll tell you what I think, Val. Shut the fuck up! No, he says, I think this is too big for any of us, and I think it's impossible to prove. You know, I rebuilt Herbie today, restored him from his pre-upgrade backup, and informed him of what we believed happened during our trip. He of course had and could have no knowledge of what was done back then either, but he did say something curious. He told me that if he were ever moved to sacrifice himself, he believes it would be because of love. Isn't that strange? And if love is the reason why there's something in our universe instead of nothing, why there's endless life instead of endless void, well, I'm not a robot, Val, but to me, that computes. I mean, alright, okay, cute, that's kind of cute, you know, that last part there. But do you see what I'm saying about Val? Do you see what I'm saying about her? They are fucking this character up. Like, I do not like her. She is not likable at all. She comes off as this kind of like, look how smart I am, look how smart I am. And which is fine, because it's like, you know, I mean, they do that with Reed Richards, but it works. But for some reason with her, like, you know what it is? Like, look at this panel here when she's talking to him. Like, when I was doing the yelly thing, and then, like, even the way they draw her face, I think that's why I read it like that. Like, even the way they're drawing her, she looks fucking annoying. Like, if that was my kid, I'd be like, come on. Step out of it. Get a hold of yourself, kid. Get a hold of yourself. Stop acting like this. Give a, you know, look at her. Look at her. What is she freaking out over? Give me a break. Give me a break. They gotta fix that. Val, I mean, she should be a better character. She's the fucking daughter of Reed and Sue. Franklin also is fucking boring as a character. Like, there was that last issue where they're like, oh, once a year, I'm so, you know how powerful I am as Franklin Richard, Reed's son? I'm the cosmic being, and I could do all this stuff, but I only do it once a year because I do it once a year, and I fix all these things in the timeline with my cosmic powers. Fucking what are you doing? I mean, Franklin is basically a cosplay of what is he, Dr. Manhattan in Watchmen? That's what he is, man. He's Marvel's answer to Dr. Manhattan. That's all it is. And I'm not even crazy about Dr. Manhattan. He's just a naked atomic god who is God, man. So like, that's obviously Franklin's story arc too, except I don't think he's going to be like as weird and cold as Dr. Manhattan in Watchmen. But I still think, like, same issue I have with those Superman comics. I hate those characters with the psych powers, you know, where they're so invincible, they use all their psych powers on people, they are unstoppable. Hate that shit. Hate it. And I hate this cosmic god stuff. You know, I mean, it's okay with like some stuff, but it's just so overdone. You guys know it. You guys know this stuff is so overdone. And so they gotta fix it with Reed and Sue's kids, because they are not doing it for me. Alicia and the Things kids are alright. Like, I like Nikki, I think she's good. I like Joven, I think his name is, the Creed kid they got. I think he's funny. I think they act more like kids than Sue and Reed's kids. And I know you're going to say, oh, but they're not going to act like kids because they're geniuses. And one kid is a cosmic guy who's secretly a cosmic guy, and then he's a normal kid for a year, but he's still a genius. And Valeria is a genius. Fuck you, man. All right? It just comes off as shallow. It comes off as, I don't know. It comes off like you're stupid. Like, fuck you. I don't know. You got to do better than this. And I'm not sure. I am still looking forward to reading the new issue they start, number 1 and 2, I think. They're on number 2 now. They got some pretty cool covers on those, I won't lie. Sue looks pretty damn good on issue number 1. But if they're writing it like this still, gonna be a bit rough. Not gonna lie. Alright guys, so thanks for watching this one. Next one's gonna be One World Under Doom. If you liked, like and subscribe. Have fun in the comments, and just have fun, guys. Fuck it. Have a good one, and thanks for watching.